The corporate regulator is stepping up the pressure on the financial advice industry to lift its game. On Friday, Macquarie Group became the latest institution to fall foul of ASIC, ordered to contact 160,000 financial planning clients over potentially bad advice. ASIC says educational standards in the industry are so poor it can't be regarded as a profession. Andrew Robertson reports.
When is a profession not a profession? According to ASIC, when it's called financial planning.
Many in the community would be surprised to learn that you can be a financial planner without having that tertiary level qualification, which is the starting point for just about any profession. And what that leads me to say is we're not yet at the level where this industry can be regarded as a profession.
With nearly 600,000 people waiting to hear if they've received shoddy financial advice from two of Australia's biggest banks, the low minimum educational standard required for financial planners is once again in the spotlight.
It depends on what course you do, but some of them can be knocked over within a few months at most, perhaps even shorter periods of time.
Which means your hairdresser can be much better qualified than your financial advisor.
Well, my hairdresser is very well qualified, and rightly so. The difference is that if they don't do a great job on the day that I see them, it takes a few weeks for it to grow out and it can be improved.
Financial planners have to comply with what's known as ASIC Regulatory Guide 146. To give general advice where you don't know the client's financial circumstances, you need the educational equivalent of a certificate. For personal advice where you do consider your client's situation, it's diploma-level education. In other words, an 18-year-old school leaver can become qualified to guide people's financial futures in about 3 months.
I wouldn't want my grandma to be sitting in front of someone who hasn't dedicated time and energy into their development of their skills and knowledge and expertise.
As well as being an independent financial planner, Claire Mackay is also an accountant and says the difference in educational standards is stark.
You know, you can't just waltz in and become an accountant. It's hard work, and our community recognises that and respects that hard work that goes to becoming an accountant.
But it's up to the government to make that change.
Clearly there's more work to be done, and I am engaged in conversations with all stakeholders in the financial advice industry on how we can sensibly continue to lift educational, professional and ethical standards further.
It all comes just weeks after the government drove through its changes to the future of financial advice reforms, which critics say lower consumer safeguards to protect some conflicted payments. For ASIC, it's a potentially toxic mix.
I think there's a will to address that at the moment. I think there's a recognition that we can't continue on in doing the same old thing.
But Quantum's Claire Mackay has her doubts.
If your goal is to distribute product, all you need is a sales force. You don't want a sales force that thinks beyond just the products you're putting in front of them.
With the banks and AMP controlling 80% of the financial planning industry and primarily wanting to sell their products, Claire Mackay believes there's little incentive for them to invest in planner education.